So it becomes stressful. You don't know what to do. That's it. Stress is not a diagnosable mental illness. You can check. I have my DSM-5 with me here. It's not a mental illness. However, long-term or chronic stress can result to comorbidities, anxiety, depression, or other mental illnesses that you can diagnose. And stress is normal. When you do things every day, there will be situations, there will be people, there will be events that will push you to decide on things or do things against your will. And just thinking about that is already stressful. So it happens every day, and we cannot totally eliminate stress. However, with this seminar, we can manage and avoid stress. Okay. So let me show you the causes of stress. To put it simply, when everything is too much thinking, too much pressure, too much frustration, too much time spent on a task. This is for students. And not being able to relax. Not being able to relax being the main cause of stress. Okay, and the effects to your body emotional. You easily get agitated. I already saw a question about this earlier. So when you why do you easily get angry when you are stressed? It's because you are already thinking of things inside your head, and then little by little things that add on top of the stress that you already have, it makes you burst out. Imagine a container that is full of air, and then you add more air onto it, it will burst. That is how you get angry, or that is how you easily get angry when you're stressed. Okay, I hope you get it. Another example is this glass. The water inside, or the liquid inside a glass, can be considered as your stressor. You put a little amount on top of or inside the container, little by little, and then when the container is already full, water is going to spill. Anger is the same. Anger is the same with the water that you constantly put in your container. So you easily get angry. When you're stressed, your mind is already full. So every little thing that you add onto it makes you angry. Another effect of stress is when you feel the need to take or lose control. When you are stressed, you're not capable of thinking in the right way. So it's either you take control of the things or you lose control. Another is when the stress gets chronic, it develops anxiety, or you may feel sad, from sadness to depression. For the physical effects, you have low energy. Okay, this is already addressing the question that I read earlier. How do you know when you're stressed? I think the question was from Leah. So here, you have low energy. It's like you cannot tolerate doing another thing anymore because you think your mind and body cannot take things anymore. So there is low energy. Another reason why you have low energy is because you're constantly feeling pain. I also saw someone mentioned psychosomatism or psychosomatic earlier. It's because When your mind is full, it doesn't or it cannot concentrate on helping the body function really well. Thus, you feel pain or any other discomforts in your body. It also causes insomnia or the inability to sleep because earlier the meaning of stress that we have is the inability to relax. So when you can't relax, it doesn't make you fall asleep. Why? Because you're constantly thinking. Your brain is not resting, so it cannot sleep. It cannot process sleep. Colds and infections, similar to psychosomatism. Delayed motor reaction. When you're constantly thinking about other things and you cannot focus on something, say for example, if you're in school and you're constantly thinking about a project that is already weighing too much on you, and then one friend taps on you, sometimes you do not see or you do not feel that your friends are already calling your attention. Or when you are walking and thinking too much, you cannot focus on your on the street where you're walking. You might fall down or trip. It's because of too much stress. Yes. Cognitive effects: constant worrying, forgetfulness and disorganization, inability to focus. For behavioral changes in appetite. Okay, so someone already raised their questions about eating or stress eating. It doesn't solve. It all depends on the amount or the food that you eat. But stress can also be something that changes your appetite. Like you don't have any appetite at all. Attention diversion. You exhibit unnecessary or non-normal behavior, or this is something that will close friends tell you, hindi ikaw yan, or it's not you. It's not like you. It's so unalel like that. And the long-term or chronic effects is mental health problems. Like what I told you earlier, stress is not diagnosable. It's not an illness recognized by the DSM-5 or the book or diagnostic criteria for mental illness. However, if if it's already long-term or chronic, it bears anxiety, depression, and all other things, including personality disorders. Cardiovascular diseases, yeah, eating disorders. Like there were already mentioned stress eating. Another one is emotional eating, anorexia nervosa, and bulimia nervosa. So when do you know that you're already stress eating? You are already stress eating when you are eating as stress arises. Healthy eating is eating in portions, balanced, and not consuming too much of something. Always remember that consuming too much is not good. And under eating or not eating enough is also not good. Skin and hair problems. So teenagers, students, when you are stressed, you're going to notice a lot of breakouts on your skin or hair falling sometimes. Gastrointestinal problems. Because when you're stressed, you're thinking too much, your body does not process the digestion really well. So you develop gastrointestinal problems. Along with anxiety, another symptom of anxiety is having pain, constant pain in your stomach. So that's it. Under eating also, and stress eating also, um, make you have gastrointestinal problems, or can cause gastrointestinal problems as well, and other diseases. Okay, but stress is manageable. Okay, so we all know that stress is the inability to relax. So how do we manage stress? Take a break, stop doing what stresses you out. Drink water. You have to hydrate. Because when you're stressed, the chemical inside your brain is being produced. And one way to desaturate the stress chemical in your brain is to drink water. Lie down a bit, breathe breathe deeply 20 times or until you feel comfortable. Okay, this is one trick. For example, you are taking an online class and you think you cannot do the homework after that. You lie down a bit, you take some rest, you breathe deeply, make sure that the muscles in your body are relaxed. Breathe deeply. When you say breathe deeply, you have to notice that your stomach is also consuming air. It inflates. And then when you exhale, you need to take out the air that you inhaled. Okay. If you don't want to lie down, you can sit up and do the same thing. As long as you're sitting up straight, your body, check your posture, your muscles, they are all relaxed. You can also close your eyes and then constantly tell yourself that you have to take a break, relax until you feel comfortable or until you don't feel stressed anymore. Freshen up. Okay, this is one good distraction. If you're feeling stressed, go go to the bathroom, freshen up. Take or put some makeup on, freshen up, and do something relaxing. This does not necessarily mean that you have to eat a lot or do something. You just have to know that the thing that you're doing is something that will help you stop being bothered by the stressor. Yes. Let go of things that you cannot control. This is one of the main contributors of why people get stressed. It's because we constantly think of the things that we cannot control, or that, or at least we are thinking of being on top of everything. There are things that you cannot control. Say, for example, some diseases, some accidents. You cannot control them. So one way to stop stress uh, is to let go of the things that you cannot control. You cannot control it, accept it, and then look for solutions. When we look for solutions, it doesn't necessarily mean that um, we are not controlling things, but um, it means that we are acknowledging that there is something beyond our control. Okay. Take care of your body, eat well balanced meals, get enough rest and sleep, do not rely on alcohol or drugs, etc. When you are stressed and you wanted to freshen up or drink something cool, alcohol is not the answer. alcohol will just weigh you down even more because alcohol is, fact check, it's a downer. So it doesn't help you think clearly. It weighs you down. So no alcohol, no drugs, and no other things. Always remember that too much of something is not good. Okay. Oh, okay. In addition to what I said earlier, too much of something is not good because it will lead to addiction, which is another mental health problem. So we say no to that. Okay. And seek help. Contact your local psychologists or mental health professionals because they can help you. They can help you manage the stress even more. Remember, stress management is something that we should not tailor fit because it's different from one person to another. So when you cannot control things anymore and you think what I mentioned earlier to manage your stress is no longer working, it's the time to seek help from your mental health professionals. And also, if we can manage stress, stress is avoidable. For students, learning from home is okay. I know that most of you feel stressed about thinking that it's going to be different than what you used to. To tell you, I've been an online instructor for more than 13 years. And when I was in my university years, I was also a working student who happens to learn online when my work is when my work is in conflict with the class that I am taking. So personally, online learning is okay. Be it using your gadgets or if you don't have any gadgets and you prefer distant. I read something about this in the Philippines. Distant learning, wherein they send you modules to check the curriculum that you are in. It's okay. We have to accept the fact that it is really risky going out there and learning the same way that we did before the pandemic. So we have to accept the fact that we have to take extra measure, accept that, and accept that we have to learn from home. Hey, you have to adhere to your schedule, adjust if you must. When you say you have to adhere to your schedule, you have to condition yourself that you have to wake up at this hour to take up the normal classes or the schedule of classes that is intended for your degree or for your program. Adjust if you must, like what I told you, since you're learning from home, you can take a rest or you can take some rest if you need to. But make sure to bounce back because we have to face the reality that you have things to accomplish. Create a small space where you can focus and study. It doesn't necessarily mean a room. It's a condition wherein you think yourself can handle classes or where you can really focus and study. Avoid distractions. No social media while in class. While while we say resting is also a distraction, it is not a distraction because you are taking care of your mental health. But the distractions that uh, we are trying to tell here are the distractions such as playing games while studying. I know that for some, playing games is relaxing, but please do not do that while you're trying to learn or when you're in class. If you do not understand something, contact your instructors because most of the students, um, most of the students in the Philippines, or from the survey that I ran before this seminar, they said that they feel learning from home is stressful because they think they will not understand the lesson the same as it is when they were in the classroom. So we will never know until we try. But if you encounter the problem about being stressed because you do not understand your lesson, you have to contact your instructor and ask for some techniques or other things that will make you understand the lesson. Perhaps more example, or you can also search online for examples, or try to repeat the process again. If you don't understand, go back again. Okay. And also seek help. Um, Parents, friends, you can also ask them if you do not understand something. Because when you're in class, I bet sometimes there are lessons that are not easy to understand. You also ask your friends, right? Or you also ask your parents about about the lesson if they know. So you always have to seek help. For students, some more tricks. You have to set priorities, focus on the most important thing. Um, when you're being given tasks or assignments, we don't say homework anymore because technically you're working from home. So everything that you get, they're all homework. So the tasks that you're being given, you focus on the most important. So it will be easier for you to handle everything. You will no longer think about ano kaya uunahin ko? What should I do first? You set your priorities. You know what's important. Share and or delegate tasks or group work. Say for example, I read from the survey that I ran. They are very stressed because they cannot meet with their thesis group mates. So everything is possible. You have your messenger, I know. You can share and or delegate tasks. And also, don't forget to acknowledge small victories. Sometimes we feel stressed because we are constantly thinking that nothing good is happening, or we feel useless, but really it's not going to help. So everything that you do, always see to it that you acknowledge small victories. It's gonna help. It's gonna help. It's gonna motivate, and it's gonna keep your stress down a little. Okay. And for teachers, teaching from home is also okay. As teachers, we also have to adhere to our schedules and adjust if we must. We have to gracefully say no if we cannot handle things already. Always remember that as teachers, our mental health is number one. Before we can take care of any other people, or any other person, we have to take care of ourselves. So gracefully say no if we can't. Create a small space. Same with a student. Avoid. Yep. Okay. So this one is something that I also saw from the survey. Well, some teachers feel stressed about how am I going to make my student understand the lesson. So one trick is, or how am I going to cater to 30 students all at once? Say, for example, one student will ask you the same thing, and then after 1 hour, another student will ask you the same thing. It's gonna weigh you down and it's gonna make you feel tired. So, as a teacher, you have to prepare some backup or record yourself taking the or doing the explanations. um it's gonna help. So instead of explaining one thing again and again, you just send them your recorded explanation and then let them figure out on their own. And also seek help. When you are a teacher, it doesn't necessarily mean that um, you have to have this kind of thinking. I'm a teacher, so I cannot be someone who seek help. No, pride down, seek help. Okay, thank you. I'm your speaker, Psycho Pal. Um, I recently launched my YouTube channel. If you will be looking for some more vlogs or blogs regarding mental health, you can catch me on YouTube and Facebook.com/psychopow, Instagram, Twitter.com/psychopowx. Thank you. Now back to your host, LL. Okay.
Thanks so much, Pau. That's a very refreshing topic, especially for the students that and the teachers as well. Practically because we have been there, right? We have been students, and we know the struggles that the student participants are going through right now. But what's different right nowadays is the pandemic. That's the right. That's the hardest actually. That's the one of the biggest thing that happened, and that we must all be, as what you said, we must all be aware and just relax and just have presence of mind. Like you mentioned lots of tips for the participants. I remember the water thing about anger. That's the perfect illustration, right? Because it if you keep it in, it will definitely burst one way or another, right? Okay, so we have questions here for you raised by let's question for Miss Pau from Hannah Heradura. What are the signs that your stress is not normal or unmanageable, and when should you seek professional help or psychotherapy?
Okay. When you think your stress is not manageable, it means everything that I taught earlier are not working. Everything is not working, sorry. Everything is when everything is no longer working and you cannot handle stress on your own, that's the time that you seek help. When do you ask a psychologist or not necessarily a psychotherapist, because a psychologist can help you do that, but also they can help you do that too. Um it's when every symptom or every effect that I mentioned earlier, you're feeling them already. It's affecting your emotional, your physical, your cognitive, everything, and you cannot do anything about it. Seek help right away.
Correct. Yes, so there you go. You just need to be mindful that keep track, right, Pau? Keep track.
You have to keep track.
Yes.
Anything that you cannot solve alone, you have to seek help.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for asking. For those you're free, feel free to ask. Okay. Jocelyn B. Pundavela. I really like the background of the two of you. Yeah. Of the. Can you suggest? Thank you. Thank you. Can you suggest how we can collaborate with the services that you can offer? We are open for any type of collaboration, right? Because we are helping one another in these times, in these trying times. So in relation to that, later we will after the webinar we will show you the services that we offer and then how we can move forward. Okay. Question from Joyce Nika Zingapan: How to make sure if your students aren't paying attention? and how to make sure if your students paying attention.
How do you know that your students are not paying attention? It doesn't necessarily mean that they are not paying attention, or maybe they cannot catch up with the lesson. So to make sure that your students are all paying attention, as a teacher, it's your responsibility to check on them. If
Right.
if they understand, or if they do not understand the lesson, as teachers, we need to check that.
Yeah, like they have how we say non-verbal, right? Non-verbal communication. Like if they're, but it's hard. It's hard if it's online, because if it's face to face, we can definitely spot those who are not paying attention, those who lack eye contact and other things, other body movement. But online, it's a different thing. But what I can add there is ask them to participate, ask questions, and then um, like what we're doing right now, we're asking you and we're talking to you, we're chatting with you. So that's one way of hooking them and keeping them attentive to you as a teacher. Oh, so from Anne Marie, thank you, Miss Pao. I clearly understand your presentation. Leah,
For the feedback, thank you very much.
yay.
It's
Noel
really
Nas,
motivating.
great, great. Noel Naz, what's the page again? What's the page? What's your social media handles again, like your YouTube and
YouTube and Facebook, PsychoPow. Instagram and Twitter, PsychoPow X.
great, great. Okay. May I share this with my students and teachers from Maria Francisca Monsod?
Be our guest.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Carlos Noel. Thank you, Ma'am Pao. Ma'am Alan, Ma'am Pao, thank you from Emmanuel. Okay. So thank you so much for um, being very active, all of you dear participants. Okay, yes, Queen Kiros, yes, you may have a copy of the topic. And yes, you can share this to your colleagues. Okay, so let's move to our, if you don't have any further questions, let's move to the next part. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, share screen. There. Okay. Can you see it? Can you see it? Is
Yep.
it there? Okay, great. So from the students and the teachers, let us move to the stress for workers and its management. For this, you will still relate to this, dear student participants, because once you graduate, or if even if you're already, even if you're still a student, you can already start to work. Like what Pao and I did when we were students. We already started working. So pay attention to this as well. You can relate to. So here are the causes of stress in the organization. Once you get to an organization, once you get a job, this is prior to COVID. This is the usual setup in an office. Okay, organizational function and structure. There are four. You might experience their poor task environment, and yes, correct. Salute for working student from Joycika. And poor problem solving environment, poor development environment, poor communication, and non-supportive culture. So the people, the support group, okay, it doesn't support you much. So the second category is employees' role in the organization. Like once you get a job, you might experience role ambiguity, meaning what is really my job? For example, you applied as a writer, and then all of a sudden the boss asks you to create a web page and other stuff. So there's role ambiguity, and to the point that you're confused. Role conflict as well. What's the difference? Role conflict is it crosses one, like you're doing this and then other task comes in. So there's no harmony in your tasks. Ambiguity is vague. You're not clear. So that's the difference. It's not clear what you're supposed to do. High responsibility of people, the piling up of tasks. Next is the career development for promotion, career uncertainty, uh, career stagnation. If you have a job and you're stuck there for a long time, you might perceive that as a stressor. Poor status or poor incongruity, poor pay, job insecurity, and redundancy, and low social value to work. Next is decision latitude or control. If you feel like a robot, something like that, and you have low part or no participation in decision making, low control over work, and little decision making in work, there are other individuals, there are other professionals who are excellent in doing uh, technological tasks, right? And they're gifted in that way. They ace or they excel in that field. However, if you're not aligned with that, like Pa, we have ITs, right? ITs, and those who are great with numbers, they prefer to be alone in a room and they're good at it. Those are the types of jobs that are perfect for them. They aligned with them. But if you are this type of person who wants to eh, the the uh, the extrovert type, the one who is comfortable with speaking with people, speaking in front like this. So you might find that job inside the office not aligned with you might not be comfortable, and that's stress to you. So as a student and as professionals, for those teachers and working individuals who are listening, participating right now, you need to be mindful if your job, if your profession is aligned with your personality, because misalignment or things that are not in in harmony with who you really are, it's a stressor already. Okay, so interpersonal relationships at work, those you work with surrounding you in the office or at work or at home. Social or physical isolation, poor relationships with superiors, interpersonal conflict and violence, lack of social support. Who among you have experienced this? Like uh I mean any, not just this interpersonal, the other factors that I mentioned. Have you experienced any of these stressors at work? Uh, Feeling stuck, feeling misaligned, feeling confused with your job. So all of these things are the causes of stress in the organization. We might not notice it. So you can internalize. You might not notice it, but you're already stressed. You don't feel well. You don't feel motivated to go to work. Uh, it feels like you're dragging yourself to work. So if that's how a person feels, then that is already stress. And like what we mentioned earlier, you need to be aware and you need to recognize that as a stressor. So you can do something about it, because if you do not recognize it, you can't do anything about it. Homework interface, conflicting demands of work and home. In our case, work and home combined, right? So low social or practical support at home and dual career problems. Also, there are others, since we are here in the Philippines, but we are most of us are in GCQ, general community quarantine. So many professionals can already go outside and go to work, provided that they are not prohibited to operate.
Mm-hmm.
So there are already those that go out, and then their work from home is still encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
So, dear participants, conflicting demands, like for me, I'll give my personal experience as an example. I'm a mom. I have a baby, and then I work at home. So when the baby cries and I do my job, so that's conflicting demands already. So it you each of us, like what Pau said, we differ. It's a it's it's a unique thing. We differ in stressors. Task design, you see here, just go through it quickly. Workload, work pace, quantitative and qualitative, and work schedule. So you might see yourself in any of those items there: high uncertainty, lack of control, and all these, dear participants, are causes of stress at work. Okay. So let's move to the current situation of the pandemic. Okay, so what's the what's the difference between the stressors in the workplace before COVID and during? First is a concern about the risk of being exposed to the virus at work. So, like what I mentioned, there are already working individuals who are allowed to go out. Like in restaurants, they're already dine in, and barber shops, right, and salons are also are already open. So the employees themselves, you can you may relate to this if you're working individuals and professionals. Um, whenever you go out, we face this risk, and it brings a lot of stress to us. Also, taking care of personal and family needs while working, also managing a different workload. So it differs. um, Workload meaning the workload that you have a lot of things that you have to do at home, and things that allow you might have a lot of things to do at work, and then there's not enough time. Stuff like that. Lack of access to the tools and equipment needed to perform your job, like laptops, like internet connection, slow internet, or uh, demands of technology gadgets. Most of us are not that techy anymore. Those who are don't have time to study about Zoom, like right now it's my first time to run this webinar through Zoom. So things like that. It's a stressor, but it depends on our perspective. The feelings that you are not contributing enough to work, or guilt about not being on the front line. There are I have colleagues and friends who are nurses or doctors who are pregnant. They cannot go to work, and some even uh, they feel guilty because they cannot. They want to be on the front line, but they cannot because they have to protect themselves and their families. That's a big cause of stress as well. So uncertainty about the future of your workplace and or employment. There are lots of organizations that have closed already. So, uh, or shall we say, there are lots that have closed their establishments. There are lots of, um, shall we say, companies that underwent retrenchment. Retrenchment, dear participants, is a term that a company uh, that a company goes through when they do not have enough funds to continue operation. So it's a legal thing. They they submit to they submit to DOLE, Department of Labor and Employment, file for retrenchment. We cannot support our employees anymore, so we need to drop our employees, and that's a valid termination. So that's a stressor for the company because they do not have enough funds, and that is also a stressor for the employees and their families. It is uncertain. If you ask, if you have, you remember the news, the owners of some companies were interviewed why they closed their companies, that we don't know up until when this pandemic will be. We are not sure until when we are going to be closed, so might as well close now. So can you imagine the stress that it will cause the employees and the owner as well? Learning new communication tools and dealing with technical difficulties like Zoom, like laptop, like iPads and all, and internet connection, right? Adapting to a different workspace and work schedule. I know I have friends as well who can't stay long at home? Are you like that? I mean, do you feel that as well? Um, one person is like this. I am not used to staying here. I want to go out. I want to go back to the office because the office environment is different. I cannot work here at home this way. I can. It's a whole new adjustment. Um, there. It's a, you might see it as a simple thing, right? But to these people, to us, and to other professionals, this is a big deal, especially when you have to focus and the environment is not conducive for working. It is a huge stressor. Okay, so there, how to manage. But before we proceed, let's I'll quickly review the chat. Yes, overwhelming work from home, so much to do yet so little time. Agree. Added stress will be the setup of dep eds, no face-to-face schooling. That's the actually the one of the my main reason. Also, Pau, for creating this webinar. It's because of the stressors that are being uh, burdened, or shall we say, like pasan. That's pasan in Tagalog, but in English, that's a burden that educators and the students have to lift, have to bear. So yes, just have to help each other out during these times. Okay, so let's move on. How to manage there. In addition to, in relation to what Pao also mentioned earlier, communicate, increase sense of control, know the facts, take a break, connect, and ask for help. So if you communicate, you vent out. It feels good if you vent out because it, it releases the tension, it makes you relax, and also listening to the advice of your family members, of your trusted friends. It's a good way of um, shall we say, knocking some sense out of you that, hey, uh, you should not be so stressed, and you should change your perception about these things, something like that. So having someone to advise that gives advice to you is a big help. Increased sense of control. How can you have increased sense of control if you're aware of the enemy? So what's the enemy? Of course, it's COVID. But I mean, in stress, in this particular webinar, what's the enemy? The enemy is the stressors in general. So you have to recognize the stressors. And then you have to be aware of your response, how you perceive that, and how you're going to respond to that. That way, you can have increased sense of control. Because if you do not recognize anything, you will have no control about. You will not have any control over it. Instead, the stressor will be the one to control you, instead of you taking control over the stressor, right? So it should be you who will be in control of the stressors. So know the facts, being aware, take a break, like what Pau said, take a break, go to uh, drink water, or freshen up and listen to music, anything that will make you breathe, take a breather, and then connect, ask for help. If anything else fails, ask for help. You have reached the end of this portion. Okay, do you have any questions before we proceed to the next part, which is case focus on work-related stress? This will be a quick run through of what services we provide. Stress management training. It's a professional help. We got this from the United Kingdom as well. As like what this is what they implement in their stress audit and in their individual stress management in cases where clients ask for help when they cannot uh, do anything about it anymore. Okay, no further questions. Let's move forward. So Roger is not the real name. Okay, so this is the situation. You might relate to this as well. You have to pay attention so that you can figure out. Oh, so this is what he did, like something like that. So Roger is in his late 40s. He's divorced and has two children who okay, who live with his ex-wife. Roger sees little of his children and currently lives alone, though he has a girlfriend. Roger is employed as a sales executive, earns a good salary, and has a comfortable lifestyle. The nature of the problem is this: he cannot concentrate on his work. That's why he is suffering. And he has increasingly regular unbidden thoughts about how worthless he feels he is. And that we feel he feels that when he comes home, come when he's driving home. So he thinks about those troubling thoughts. This anxious thinking appears to be the result of Roger's high level of tension and low self-esteem rather than the development of an obsessive compulsive disorder. So the awareness there was given to him, or he realized that in session 3. Later, I will show you the breakdown of the sessions that we provide in order to cater to the uncontrolled stressors. Since Roger's wife left him 3 years ago, he has begun to drink heavily. And the effects, lack of concentration led to work adverse, uh, work affected. He cannot concentrate. Poor work performance, lowered self-esteem, low self-esteem, anxious thoughts, alcohol abuse. Anxious thoughts, fear of madness, and alcohol abuse contributes to stress, poor concentration, and puts general health at risk. Remember what I mentioned earlier? It starts with your perception, and it led to several illnesses already. Past attempts to work on the problem, he has tried the steps. He has tried something in order to resolve his stress. Roger has not seen his doctor, however, about those difficulties, and he does not wish to. He kept everything to himself. And at first, he was skeptical about stress management training, but he's willing to try it. Because as what I said, it is a skill that you have to learn how learn how to do it. Okay, yes, correct, Leah. That's a domino effect. One thing led to another, and to the point that you cannot control it anymore. So the duration of the problem, the poor concentration has been going on for 9 months, and his anxious thinking pattern developed about 3 months ago. However, the buildup of stress appears to have begun 5 years ago when he was promoted to his present post and may have contributed to the breakup of his marriage. So this is according to him, the documentations here. Okay, so he underwent a contract for 8 weeks on stress management training. So we have 8 sessions that's weekly. So this is what these are what he used, the tools that were given to him, the Holmes and Ross scale. It's a tool that can measure how stressed you are. Okay, so his score is 230, which is high enough to put him at risk of developing a stress-related illness. And we talked to Roger about this, but he did not see himself as at any such risk. So the awareness is not there. He was not aware, but he is already suffering. Subjective level of stress, how he measures his own stressors, 8 out of 10. 10 is the worst. 3 things contributing most stress at present. First, failure to achieve targets at work. Second, lack of concentration. And third, living alone. Subjective measure of change. So this is what he wants to achieve, to do my job properly again, according to him. Okay, so we trained him stress management techniques, one of which is scores, strengths and weaknesses, coping. Okay, so Roger scored in the moderate range overall with a good knowledge of stress, what it is about. So it's important, the theoretics, but it is not enough. The theoretics are not enough. You need to be able to apply it to yourself. Okay. Good assertiveness skills and a moderate ability to set and achieve goals, manage time, and be decisive. So Roger scored low on self esteem, fitness, and healthy habits. What's his response to therapeutic information giving? This is a technique, part of the training that was taught to him, trained to him. We discussed Roger's problems, relating them to the buildup of stress over the past 5 years, when worries at work may have led to activation of fight or flight syndrome. And he was reassured that his anxious thinking pattern was a common reaction to stress. Okay. Another technique that was trained to him was muscular relaxation training. Roger found the first stress management relaxation exercise on passive progressive muscular relaxation very difficult to do. He felt that he could not find the time to practice. And we told him that if he did not take time to practice the relaxation exercises, then he was wasting his time and money to come and see us for training. Because you have to commit yourself to this before it can have positive effects on you. At our next meeting, he had mastered passive progressive relaxation and begun to use it as a coping skill. So see, dear participants, uh, the skill that is being trained to him, he applied it. He had to put himself in it, helping him to relax while driving. Although Roger tried to learn active progressive relaxation, he found it caused pain to his overtensed muscles, and we advised him to stick to the passive method. And the personality type, Roger scored highly on this test, emerging as type A, at risk for developing cardiac illness. Breaths per minute, 12, that is normal because it's a 12 to 20. Depression questionnaire score, Roger showed as suffering from mild depression. But we have to we have to delineate, okay, like what Pao said, there are different stress. It's not really what do you call that, Pao? The DM, the standard for the
Uh,
mental health thing.
DSM-5.
What's that again? Sorry.
DSM-5.
DSM-5. What's the meaning? Sorry. The
The diagnostic manual for mental health illnesses.
yes, stress is not there, right?
Stress
Stress
is not.
management. Yes. So just to make it clear that the for us here in Runberger Stress Control, we train the skills needed to combat stress, but it differs from one person to another, so it has to be personal. Okay. Right. Joseph Augustus Fronda, thank you. DSM-5 and Ray Jane Hardy Baraka. So diagnostic statistic for mental illnesses. So to just clarify, the training services that we provide are not therapy. Okay, I constantly remind the clients and the participants that this is not therapy. We do not cure illnesses, and we do not approach them. Please pardon the toy of my baby. So anyway, uh, so where was I? There you go. This is not therapy. Okay. What we do is we train skills how to combat it, but we do not cure it. Okay. Once you're already equipped with the skills how to combat stress, it might help big time. It might help your clinical condition, but there is the cure itself will be in the part of the mental health professionals. We are just here to train you the techniques about how to handle stress. So there you go. Okay, 8 things contributing most to stress by session 8. So after the 8th session, Roger now feels more able to achieve targets at work and his concentration has improved. The things he feels contribute most to stress are living alone, not enough money, and excessive alcohol. So it changed. Remember earlier, he had different the different stressors. Now it's their brand new stressors, but according to him, he now feels more able to achieve targets at work. So we're happy about the outcome. Subjective measure of change. This was achieved by session 7. Client's evaluation of the training coaching. Coaching again is different, dear participants, because training is equipping a person of a skill that he has to have. Coaching is goal based, how you can achieve that goal. So it's those are different terminologies. So here in training coaching, Roger best liked cognitive techniques that we trained him, aimed at uncovering unconscious negative thinking patterns. And he was very impressed with the simplicity and effectiveness of the stop technique. That's one of the techniques that we train. Roger liked least any discussion on changes in diet and exercise. Summary. So here, Roger was generally calmer. Okay, so that's the improvements. Good to know. As can be seen by the results of the daily relaxation log. We also give the clients daily relaxation log just so they are updated and aware of what their body is how their body is responding to the stressors. And it seemed to be far less angry than at the outset. There seems to be a little chance of major lifestyle changes, which means that his health continues to be at risk, as what we say. This is not curative, but Roger seems more open to looking at other parts of his life than that he might need to change. This is a good collaborative effort for the cure. There you have it. So before we will play a really short quiz. It's just 4 questions, but the winner here, there'll be 2 winners out of 51 of our participants. There'll be 2 winners that are or who will have the free entire stress management program. So the entire thing that Roger underwent, like he has this stressor, and then we trained him all the way until he was able to learn the skills that he should have. So for other future stressors that come his way, he knows already how to beat that because he's already equipped with the technique. Okay, so let's play. But before, do you have any questions? Can you say that again? Okay, sure. Coaching versus training. Okay. Training is skills based, but we also have a video about this on YouTube. Training is skills based. Like in TESDA, there are lots of skills: cooking, baking, hairdressing, something like that. So those are skills. Those are training. There are sets of skills, competencies that are trained to the clients for them to have this, to equip them with the skills that they have to do, or they have to shall we say, exercise whenever the need arises. So in our case, we provide stress management training, technical, highly technical stress management training. So for things that are so heavy, we train you how to look at that and how to perceive it, and the actual techniques and the tools we will train you the skills on how to beat your stressors. So that's training. Equipping you of what you have to have. Okay, compared to coaching is like this. You're here, present, looking at the present. Okay, here I am right now, and then where do I want to be 6 months from now? Like, for example, 6 months from now I want to lose weight, or 6 months from now I want to be whatever it is that your goal is. I want to earn money after 6 months. I want to have a steady income after 6 months, or I want to any goal that you can think of. Okay, so you're here right now and you established a goal, 6 months or longer, and then coaching is guiding you each step of the way in order to reach that goal. But the difference here is that the action points will come from you. So the coach, or the life coach rather, will, it can also apply to fitness coaches, sports coaches, any type of coaches. But the difference in life coaching is it's a life skill. So grit, persistence, patience, those are life skills. So, okay, a life coach is like this. We ask you questions and then you provide the answers. Once you provide an answer, it will be a realization to you. Like to the point that, oh, I didn't know about that. I didn't know that all along, all my life, I thought I'm like this. But because of the questions that you asked me, now I know that this is how I want to be. Something like that. That's coaching. It's a realization experience. Everything will come from you. And then the action points, the coach will push you until you reach that goal in 6 months. So coaching is present to the future, and training is only skills based. So that's the difference. I hope I made myself clear. Okay. So is it clear? Training, skills based coaching, um, present to future, guided present to future. There you have it. Any other questions? Okay, let's play. Let's play now. I'll give you here. I'll post this in the chat box. Yeah. So the highest scorer, is that the right term? The participants who will score the highest, or have the highest score, will win free training programs from us. Okay, 8 sessions. Here, you go to this link. You're welcome, Anne Marie Aguirre, and you're welcome, Leah and Joseph Augustus. So you go there, okay? Let me know if you're there already. Oh, you feel free to unmute because I'm going to change the slide. I'm going to change the screen. There. Present. Can you see it? Can you see this? Who will win? Can you see the screen that I'm sharing? How can you see it?
Not yet.
Oh, sige. Probably the PowerPoint. Sige. I'll stop sharing and then I'll share this new screen. Share screen. There. Okay. I will wait for you, guys. We have 47 participants. Okay. Are you there already? The faster you answer, the higher the score. Game? Shall we start? Okay, I'll start na. Okay, Mary Jean, you're raising your hand. You're raising your hand. Feel free to unmute. Okay, let's start. Okay. Okay, so cute. Anyway, answer fast to get more points. Okay, how many sessions are there in our stress management training?
7.
Oh, you choose 5, 8, or 10. 3, 2, 1.
10.
You choose your
8.
answer. You click it.
8.
Correct. This is so fun. So cute. Great.
8.
8 sessions. We have 8 sessions. And here goes the leaderboard. Sebastian is on the lead. Remember that the faster you answer, the higher the score.
Okay.
Okay. Next. Answer fast, get more points.
Okay.
What can stress damage?
Health.
Best answer, okay? Choose the best answer.
Health.
All.
You click it. You click it.
All.
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 The best answer. Although everything
All.
correct. The best. Okay, so the top score is Queen
You have
Maria
to stop.
Sheila Medina. Great.
Okay.
Okay. Is stress management a skill?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
3, 2,
Yes.
1. Yes, the skill. So for this question, the fastest is Maria Sheila. Yay. The impact of stress to you depends on your internet connection, educational
Perception.
background, or perception.
Perception. Perception.
3, 2,
Perception.
1.
Perception.
Time's up.
Ano po guys?
Perfect. Impact of stress depends on your perception. Oh, Maria Sheila Medina again. Yay! So, Maria Sheila Medina is the winner, followed by Kesley. Maria Sheila Medina and Kesley. So, congratulations. You have won yourselves. I'll take note of your names, okay? That's Maria Sheila Medina and Kesley. Kesley. Kesley, you need to give me your full name later. So that's it. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
That's so cool. Anyway, okay, let's how do I stop this? Stop share. Okay. And thank you for joining the game. Okay. Next part is, so we have winners, Maria Sheila Medina and Kesley. But for the rest of the participants, thank you for joining. And there you have it. This ends our webinar. And we are so happy to have you here with us. Do you have any questions before we end the webinar? Oh, but I'm going to give you the link to our exit quiz. Sorry, exit survey, okay?
They are
Click
asking for
here.
the certificates.
Yes.
Yes. we will
Please
be
unmute.
providing.
Yes, go ahead. Go, Pao. What is it?
Yes. They were asking about e-certificates, and
Oh,
I
yes.
just mentioned that we are going to send e-certificates to those who joined.
Correct. So actually in the first webinar, there were really requests, many requests for a free certificate. So here it is, dear participants. There. Oh no, that's okay. Everyone, here is the link to our exit survey. Please fill that out because that will be the basis where we will send the certificates and how we can move forward with the services, the stress management training and coaching that we provide if you have further inquiries and questions. And we will also read your responses for our future webinars. It will mean a lot to us. Your responses in the
it will help us improve, and it will help us keep helping people to manage
Correct.
stress and other things.
Yes. And have I forgotten anything? Please fill out that survey. Okay. And once you give your, and please double and triple check the email address that you put there on the survey.
Name spelling.
Yes. The name and the spelling, because that will be put in the certificate, and we will send that because we have encountered participants before who were not able to receive their certificates because of misspelled email addresses, and we also encountered misspelled names. So we do not want that. Please triple check your entries, your names and your email addresses. And then I'll give the winners. Okay, here I'll give my Calendly link. Also, how if you want to share links with our participants, here is my Calendly. Click that to book your session with us. Okay. So for the stress management training, the consultation, dear participants, is free because it's assessment. We need to know where you are and how we will get to your desired outcome. So it's free. Okay, the first call is free. And then once we agreed how we can help you move forward, and then we will agree on things like we will offer you the price of the services. Also, if we offer grants for those who have for those who are financially challenged, we offer grants of discounts based on your income. Okay, so there, and you are all invited to our next webinar. Definitely, there will be a series of COVID related stress management webinars that we will give you. Thank you once again, and then there. After this, we will consolidate your responses, and then we will distribute your certificates. Okay. There, you can email Pau, dear Pau at paudechavez.com if you want to. Yes, go ahead, Pau.
If you want to consult with something, or personal advice, or just need someone to talk to, you can send me an email. I respond. I may not respond ASAP, but I respond whenever I have time to check.
Yes. And we will also, since we're already partners with Pau, and all of you participants are subscribed to us already once you entered in the Eventbrite. So we will, the links to her blogs and other inputs, we will distribute to your emails so we can all stay updated. Worth the time spent. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us.
So,
And Karen Evangelista. Oh, there's a question. Roder John Cueva. Sorry, saan po ilalagay yung name ko sa exit form? Please enter your names in the email address. Probably we missed that one. sorry. We missed that one. Please write your names in the email field so that it's your name and your email in the text field. Okay. Name and email in the same text field. Perfect. There. Okay, so you have the email of Pau and you have my Calendly for you to book. Oh, for the winners, please don't forget Maria Sheila Medina and Kesley. This prize that you want. Yes, go ahead, Pau.
Kesley Cruz. Her name is Kesley Cruz.
Kesley Cruz. Okay, Kesley Cruz. the prize that you won is not, it's not cheap, it's costly, but you want it for free. So you need to take advantage of it. And since I mentioned it's costly, but we offer grants, okay? So it's not tight on your budget. Okay. I'm done with the link. Okay, we will see that. Paano po yan? Na-send ko na po post survey with many here. Link Kesley. Cruz noted, Kesley. Oh, okay. I'll put in Kesley and Maria Sheila. Please book here. Please book here. Oh, sorry. Kesley, Cruz. Okay, please book there because that's where we will agree how to move forward and also to for other inquiries. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.